Today we're going to be making tree stump cookies with an engraved pattern on them. We'll start by carving with our boo-boo stick into our cookie just to get an idea of where we're going to have our design. You can use any design, just make sure you space out your lettering a little. Brush off any excess crumbs so they don't prevent your icing from sticking. We're going to add some icing to our cookie. Trying to cover up that design with a thin layer of flat icing. So we'll spread the icing across the cookie with a palette knife or a spatula. If you need a little more icing, keep adding it and spreading it across until you have a good coverage of the area where your design is going to be. Make sure your icing is really flat so it's easy to pipe your design over. You'll want to have enough icing that the area you're trying to cover is fully covered and your cookie does not dry out. Now let your icing dry completely before this next step. Now we're going to outline our design with thick icing and a 1.5 tip on my piping bag. I'm going to outline as if I'm making bubble letters. I'm going on both sides of my heart, leaving a small space in between. This space in between is what looks like it's been engraved into your tree stump. And then outlining around every letter and the heart in the middle. You can see why you need to space your letters out and write them pretty large. Now we are adding a bark border along the edge of our cookie, using a zigzag piping method. Turning your cookie as you go helps it be a little bit more comfortable to pipe. With flood icing, fill in the negative space of your design. That is the space around your design, not the small space you've left in between those piped outlines. I have a very small tip cut on my piping bag so I can get in those small spaces. Use a scribe tool or a boo-boo stick to push any of the icing where you are not able to get with a piping bag. And flood in that outer area also. This really makes your design stand out now. Let dry completely before moving on. Now we're going to paint the details on our cookie with food coloring. I've let food coloring dry in a paint palette. We will use it just like watercolor. Add some water to your brush, dip it in your palette, and get some of the color on your brush. Dab any excess off on a paper towel, and you're going to begin painting, following the outline of your cookie. Make rings on the outer edge of that light tan flood icing. Continue adding color to your brush and painting rings, moving towards the center of your cookie. I left these videos here at normal speed because I really enjoy watching watercolor painting myself. You can see your rings do not need to be perfect lines. Mine are quite wiggly. It gets a little trickier as you get here to the center where your design is. But just do your best to keep adding rings until the whole cookie is filled up. Okay, I'll speed it up for you. You'll just get the satisfaction when you do it yourself. Now we're going to add a little bit of shading around that bark border along the edge. Add some color to the edge between the bark and your tan flood icing. Then come back with a damp brush and blend it a little bit. Painting and watercoloring on cookies does take some time, but I do think the result is totally worth it. And we're finished. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to see more tutorials like this.